Hello, friends. Raccoons are known for their mischievous nature. They are great at finding trouble and quickly making a mess. Moreover, they are very curious, so people always need to be on guard with these animals. The owner of this garage, for example, certainly didn't expect to see a raccoon there, especially not trapped, although it was the animal itself who set up this trap. Looking for something tasty or shiny in the garage, the little creature somehow managed to catch its neck on the tarp that was covering the car. Then the animal started panicking, trying to free itself, which only made things worse. The raccoon got even more entangled in the tarp, thus virtually hanging itself, making it impossible for it to breathe. Much to the happiness of the raccoon, the car's owner noticed it. But freeing the animal turned out to be rather difficult. It was impossible to untangle the tarp without some tools, since it was tightly twisted around the animal's thin neck. Moreover, the raccoon kept trying to bite its savior in the hope of protecting itself from the person, and one needs to be careful with raccoon bites, since these animals often have rabies. Then, the owner of the garage tried to cut the tarp with an improvised knife, but unfortunately, it turned out to be too small and could hardly handle this task. Time was running out. The raccoon continued to suffocate, and at some point the man cried out plaintively, "It's dying. I tried to save it, but the knife is too small." That could have been the end of this story if it weren't for the neighbor who came to the rescue. Together, they did manage to cut the tarp. Then, when the animal was already on the ground, it took them another moment to free it completely. Fortunately, everything ended well for this little rascal. They gave the animal some food and then released it into the wild. Let's hope that from then on this raccoon would be more careful when rummaging through unfamiliar territory. And here is another incident with a raccoon. Firefighters in Poland had to remove the little rascal from the pole twice in one day. Both times, they had to turn off the electricity. That's how it went down. The raccoon climbed onto the street lamp and fell asleep there. The animal had to be removed by the rescuers of the local volunteer fire department. To remove the sleeping animal, the firefighters had to cordon off the area. The animal was removed using a winch. While the rescuers were gathering their equipment, the raccoon took advantage of the situation and climbed back up again. After removing the raccoon from the pole for the second time, the firefighters placed it in an animal carrier. The animal was then taken to the forest and released into the wild. Fortunately, it didn't come back to climb the pole for a third time. This incident happened in the US. One day, an animal shelter got a call from a resident of California. The man said that he made an interesting discovery on the roof of his house. It turned out that a raccoon tried to get inside the man's home and chose the roof as its point of entry. It seemed like a good plan, until the raccoon got stuck during its break-in. The shelter staff advised the man on how to help the raccoon so that it didn't suffocate. And a little later, the specialist had to come to the animal's rescue. This incident ended well, but the owner of the house is now considering installing some kind of humane, repulsive barrier around his home. Nobody expects such a turn of events. Haley Iliff, a U.S. resident, returned home to discover that raccoons had made their way inside her house while she was away. The information was shared on Twitter. Iliff came home from out of town and saw a hole in the ceiling through which a raccoon had fallen into her bedroom. Later, 4 more predators fell through the ceiling. They trashed my room. Who knows what else they'll do before we get them out? No idea how much this is going to cost me. At the very least, I'll need new sheets, the woman said on Twitter. Then the woman wrote that the U.S. Humane Society was only able to help her a day later, since it was a female raccoon and she was aggressively protecting her offspring. We hope no one got hurt in this situation. And if you ever thought about getting a pet raccoon, then this information is for you. Taking a raccoon into your family is a very responsible decision, so you need to carefully weigh all the pros and cons, because it isn't like getting a cat or a dog. Raccoons are predators, which means that it's impossible to completely tame them or change their natural disposition. You probably already know that raccoons are rather active animals. Moreover, their boundless natural curiosity and mischievous character, combined with agile paws and intellect, can sometimes make even the most emotionally stable people lose their nerve. Also, raccoons are vindictive. They won't tolerate being offended, and even more so, these animals will never forgive you if you use physical force with them. It's very easy to lose the raccoon's trust, but it can be nearly impossible to get it back. They have many other disadvantages too. Of course, it is a bit inappropriate to call the natural habits of animals their disadvantages. Those are rather some of their special traits that you will need to be willing to accept if you want to keep them as a pet. But you should definitely be aware of them. In nature, raccoons are nocturnal animals. However, living with humans, they almost completely adapt their habits and lifestyle. But the increase in their activity in the evening remains unchanged. Be prepared for the fact that having rested and slept through the day, raccoons will rush around the house and play with everything they come across. Going to sleep in silence before the raccoons run out of energy will be impossible. A seemingly endless supply of energy and boundless curiosity make these animals seem like a sort of mix of a small child and a monkey. These animals spend every minute studying the world around them, striving to climb into the most secluded corners of the house and get anything and everything they can reach with their paws. The raccoons love to wash their paws in water, as well as wash everything they can grab, which are often sometimes documents left unattended, money, and other valuables. Household appliances often fall victim to. It is very difficult to deal with domestic raccoons during the rut. Even the kindest and most affectionate animals begin to show aggression and can attack their owners for no good reason. You should be very attentive to the mood of your pet during spring so as to avoid getting unexpected bites. Raccoons are predators with sharp claws and teeth. When playing with them, avoiding scratches is impossible, but if there's something they don't like, they will use their fangs. These animals will always have the instincts and habits of a predator, so you can never lose your vigilance. But there are also positive sides to keeping such pets. Raccoons are very easy to take care of. They eat dog food supplemented with vegetables and fruits. They are very clean. They cannot stand dirt and take good care of their coat. It's easy to get them to use a litter box, so if everything is emptied in a timely manner, there won't even be any unpleasant odors in the house. Raccoons are very sociable animals. They are easy to train and they will copy your habits. Moreover, their innate sense of empathy makes them true friends and family members. The life expectancy of domestic raccoons averages 15 to 20 years, which is almost 5 times longer than in the wild. Strong natural immunity, plus your attention and care, can prolong the life of your beloved pet even more. The oldest pet raccoon is known to have lived for 31 years. And that's all for today, friends. Do any of you have a pet raccoon? Be sure to tell us about your experience with this animal in the comments. Also, let us know what impressed you the most in today's episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.